Hello, hello, my green skin. We've all been talking about the fact that the AIs are creating these like, what if this video game series was a dark '80s movie? What if that video game series was a dark '80s movie? Well, I got an idea. Let's steal some content back from those '80s, those AI bastards, and make some '80s movies of our own. What if Contra One came out with an '80s or '90s movie? We'll do it right in the peak between 1987 to 1992. That was like the peak action movie period. So, Nessie, what was your feeling towards Contra? Did you ever get to play it?
I did. I grew up playing Super Nintendo, and a lot of the games for Super Nintendo for regular Nintendo ported over and were recreated, I should say, for the new system. And so I got to play Contra a few times. And it's your basic bang bang shoot 'em up side scroller, but it's more of a military like setting,
Yeah.
very reminiscent of Rambo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see it as being very easy to convert into an 80s action movie.
Yep.
It's very paint by numbers 80s action movie in my opinion.
Uh, and Dark is unfortunately the innocent babe in the scenario again. But Contra, the Dark movie, and I'll break down a little bit of the story of the Dark movie of this movie, and then we'll kind of go what's what. So, Dark, you never really got to play Contra, did you originally? Because you didn't have a Nintendo, you had an Atari, did you not?
Unfortunately, yes. The
Mm.
sad truth is, we want when I wanted a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation, yeah, even during that time, I still had an Atari, and I
Mm.
would be like, "Dad, can I have a Nintendo 64?" No, you have your game. You already have the Atari, and that's like, what was it, like 15 years old at that point?
Yeah, I actually Contra for me. My little love story to Contra is the first time I ever got to play Contra was the day I got my first paper route, and I got to rent a Nintendo and I had never rented a Nintendo before, and I got my first Nintendo, and I'm like, ooh, Nintendo! I've never seen a Nintendo before, and I got to play Contra. It was Contra, Super Mario Duck Hunt, and Super Mario Brothers 3, I think, were the games we actually got to play. And it was actually the Super. No, it was Legend of sorry, it was Legend of Zelda and Super. We never had the original Mario. It was Legend of Zelda and Super Mario 3. And when I actually got to play those games, and my mom got to play those games, we had a freaking Nintendo by the end of the week. Like we kind of stole the rental Nintendo for a while, and then by the end we had our Nintendo. So we have two badasses. The storyline to Contra, you have two badasses. You have one, uh, Bill Rizzer or Bill Reiser, and Lance Bean. Now, both characters have an interesting story about them because they are modeled after two characters. They're modeled after Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator and and Sylvester Stallone in Rambo. And these individuals were off on basically they're commando forces that get dropped off on a on an actual like jungle and this arid land on an island, and they fight off this evil army of brainwashed soldiers that are basically being controlled by an alien race of Metroid slash fucking aliens from Alien One artwork and style as they fight their way through, killing these creatures, trying to destroy them so that they don't infect and invade and conquer the world. That is the story of Contra One. Rambo and Commando going on an adventure. Rambo Commando. So, guys, who do you think should be the lead characters for Contra One? Okay, go for it. Dark, who do you think should be the lead characters for Contra 1?
Well, I'm biased, so I'm gonna say Stallone's character.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger because legitimately it was fucking modeled after him.
Well, when you think about it, they're both gonna have to be the main characters. But if you ask me, the real question is who is the first among equals?
Oh, it would be Bill Reiser, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, because it would be interesting to have them buddy up. It's sad because we never got to see it until goddamn fucking Expendables, which I hate.
Expendables doesn't count.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. Nessie, what would you want to see between the two lead characters of Bill Reiser and Lance Bean?
Now, honestly, if we were back in the 80s, okay, if we were back in the 80s, I could honestly see the people they are inspired off of and no one else. Maybe if Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't have made it, in a pinch, Jean-Claude Van Damme, perhaps. But
I would have said Dolph Lundgren. I would have said if you're going to do that, Dolph would have been probably the one.
But I'm saying Jean-Claude Van Damme to me was kind of like a discount Arnold Schwarzenegger. Maybe,
oh, really?
Maybe you could bring in was his name Chris Lambert from was that his name? Chris Lambert?
Christopher Lambert, I think so,
yeah. Maybe you could bring him in, but if that's only if you can't get the original two that they're based off of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they made it today in an 80s style, which we know they never will because toxic masculinity. If they made it today, I can't see any men playing those roles because the men in Hollywood today just don't have the.
Honestly, you do have guys that could pull it off.
Henry Cavill, I take that back. Henry Cavill could play one of them.
Yeah, Henry.
Cavill, whatever. Cavill,
I would say. Yeah, I would say Henry Cavill. If we were to do it modern day, I would say the guy who played Thor, because he
Chris
can
Hemsworth,
do.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth and Henry Cavill could legit do a good movie. That is actually a good idea to do a Contra movie. If you had those two actors, you could pull it off. They're both built they're both strong. The guy who played Thor actually can play a serious role. He gets stuck playing these pseudo smirking hero guys.
I hate to bring up this movie because I hate this movie, but he played a very good serious character in Snow White and the Huntsman. I hate that movie. I'm not a Kristen Stewart fan. Don't hate on me. I don't care. But I think he did a good job in that serious role, in my opinion.
Well, I think majority, except for the guy who did the guy with his shirt off 90% of the time. I think everyone in the Twilight franchise freaking annoys the fuck out of me. Fucking everyone annoys the fuck out of me. Anyway,
sorry, I couldn't take Shark Boy seriously as a werewolf. I couldn't. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. He actually is a decent actor, and you know what? He can. I'm sad that he's been typecast. So I don't think we'll ever see him in anything anymore.
I have to amend my own statement. Those pathetic wolves were not werewolves. They were more like skinwalkers in Native American versus European mythology there. But I digress.
Yeah, we won't get into all that silliness because Twilight, to do that, we would have to torture Dark with Twilight review. If we ever get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll do a Twilight review and torture Dark.
Hell
yes.
No. Yep, it'll happen.
No, it won't.
Come on, guys. Come on, 1,000 subs. Okay, so we got ourselves our two leads. So how would you start off this movie? Dark, you have two guys going to an island to fight an alien. How would you start this movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or do we go with the Henry Cavill? And I can't remember the guy from Thor. I can't remember his name for some reason.
Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth. So, Which one do you want to do? Do you want to do the modern, or do you want to go back to the past and do our '80s badasses, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone? Well, yeah, I'm assuming you go Stallone. So how do you start this movie?
I didn't know I
Sylvester
was supposed
Stallone,
to
Arnold.
write a script for this, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's write.
I guess
Let, let's
I would have it so that the aliens are attacking, are on Earth. They're controlling people and invading, and then they call in the two best soldiers to take them out.
okay.
That's the bare bones version of it. And two guys who I don't know. I don't know what the relationship would be like. Do they disagree? Are they bros? Are they rivals? Do they hate each other? Are they okay with each other? But either way, we're gonna hear a lot of one-liners, and the two being the badasses they were in their movies in that era. It's basically an Aliens meets Rambo meets Commando or Predator,
No.
whichever you prefer.
Nessie, what's your start off? What is your starting to this movie?
I mean, I'm not really big on 80s action films myself, but I have been known to watch a few just for kicks and giggles. But I kind of see it as two rivals who are the best of the best of the best. One's maybe a Marine, one's maybe a top army commander or something.
Green beret.
They go ahead and they're summoned to take care of this alien menace. And you see them kissing their families goodbye, or their girlfriends are promising to come back for them or whatever, and sappy crap in the beginning. That gives them something to fight for besides God and country, you know? And then they get to the island and they rely solely on each other. Maybe something goes wrong and their vessel gets shot out of the air or out of the water, and they have to rely on their wits and improvise MacGyver style and Survivor Man style and take out this entire army of aliens with just their bare hands, essentially. There's pure masculinity there. True masculinity, not toxic. So,
Okay.
hear that, boys? I'm into true men, real men. Got that? Yeah, single.
I just thought of another.
I'm kidding. Oh my god, I'm kidding. Come on now.
I just thought of
You can
another
cut that
way.
out.
Okay, I just thought of another way to make the movie even cooler.
Okay, go for it.
Whichever scenario you take, whether it's me or Nessie's, they're both under the direct command of a guy played by Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers gets his own action scenes, like while they're out on the mission.
We could. I actually got a theory. I got an idea for that for the seat, because they have other movies. We could do the whole franchise of Contra. We really could, and that will involve Dark actually watching and playing these games. So it's an excuse for us to force him to play these things. I don't need to, because I've legitimately freaking played them all the way up to like the crappy PlayStation ones, which we won't do. We'll do the original saga. So, my idea: we get a setting sun scene, a scene where it's setting sun. You get Sylvester Stallone sitting after finishing a mission, and he's just about to finish off the mission. They're getting to do something, and all of a sudden, Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team start shooting him, because he's a Russian Soviet soldier, and they have some pot shots and shit. They get their shots off. Sylvester Stallone is running for his life. They get to the thing, and he finishes the mission. He doesn't finish the mission, but he fails in a way, and he fails the mission.
Now you're mixing it with Red Heat. Arnold
Just
being
let me
Russian.
finish. I know. Just let me finish. I let you guys do your story thing. Let me do my story thing. Okay. So you got yourself you got him. He failed his mission. Sylvester Stallone gets sent. He's pissed off. He's getting yelled at his boss, who will make that. We'll make it. You know who I want it to be? John Wayne. John Wayne is his commanding officer, and John Wayne is telling him, "You're fucking fucked up again." Yeah, blah 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 blah. And it's like he's just got us. Now, America and Russia gets attacked. Fucking nukes go off. Both cities. They think they've been attacked, but no one knows. So they both realize it came from this island, like it was weird alien thing. It really fucked up everybody. No one knows where the attack happened. So they send both Sylvester Stallone and his team and Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team go out on the island. So it starts off they run into each other and they start arguing with each other, but then they're attacked by these soldier infected with these weird disease things, and they're fighting their way through and they get their thing, and all that's left is these two guys. And they realize, they hear through a radio that, targets, did you eliminate targets, plan operation such and such, and some sort of operation code. And Sylvester's like, well, if we don't stop them, they're going to destroy the world. And then we better get this done. So they basically go on this mission. Now you got two of the badass motherfuckers that were enemies, which was the original enemy rivalry that they had apparently created in the 80s and 90s, where they kind of like one was, one would come out with a movie, another one would come out with a movie, that type of thing that was going on. You have these rivals that join forces to defeat an alien fucking menace. And it's badass all the way to the fucking end where they blow up the fucking thing. They blow up the alien, and they both leave and they both kind of create this separate team. And that leads into Super Contra, which we'll do Super Contra in another video. So what do you guys think?
There's just one little problem. One problem with your idea.
Mm-hmm.
John Wayne was dead he died in 1979.
Fuck it, it's a what if, I don't care.
It was Dreamcast. It was Dreamcasting.
It's Dreamcasting.
You said, but you said the time frame is somewhere between 1987 to 1990.
Okay. We'll have the guy who did
Carl Weathers.
Okay, then okay. No, Carl. I got plans for Carl Weathers. In the next movie, next game.
Billy D. Williams.
You know what? Actually, that's a great idea. Billy D. I like that. Billy D. You know what? Fucking yeah, sold. Billy D. Williams. Awesome. Works for me.
Now, there is a way that they could still make that movie today. Hear me out.
Oh, okay.
If they went a Top Gun route, they have the two retired soldiers from their different franchises, okay? Mm-hmm. And they want this to take place in the same world, okay? Because, I mean, they're both on Earth, right? Both of their major franchises are on Earth, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you take the two action heroes from their two franchises, and you're still giving people what they want. You're giving them fan service, you're giving them... And you have the government be like, there's no one better suited for this. I'm warning you, it is a suicide mission. There's a chance you won't come back from this. And they're like, okay, who we got? Just you two. Oh, crap. So
that could work.
They say goodbye to their families, and they have their moment of, can I actually do this? And then they meet up, and they're like, hey, see, yeah, I hate your guts. Me too. Kind of thing. And like, you realize your country still sucks, right? So does yours. That kind of thing. And then they go to the island and survive together at the last minute or whatever. Like, everybody thinks they're dead, and two will come back in a blaze of glory at the end. Like, there's fire behind them. Everybody thinks they're dead, and they're sitting there with their cigars just smoking as the army comes in to check on them. They're on the beach, smoking, bloodied, they're bruised, and they're just smoking their cigars that they stole from the...
I agree with everything you said. The problem is you can't do that with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. They're just too old. It's even Expendables. This is why I've heard the term Dependables. That's what they call the new Expendables movies. And that's the sad thing is that you can't take these guys serious. Now, like I said, if we got Cavill and Thor,
Hemsworth,
Hemsworth. If you got Cavill and Hemsworth, you could do it. I would even go as far as saying, as much as I hate The Rock and kind of like The Rock, if you got John Cena and The Rock doing that movie. That could work too.
Eh,
Oh,
I mean, I'd
another
rather see The Rock be their commanding officer that chews them out, but that's just
yeah.
me.
Another good combination. If you're going to modern day this, Jason Statham and Elvis Iba would be two good
Idris
guys that
Elba,
could.
you mean?
I apologize. I know there's people that love that guy. I love him too, but I think if that could work. But again, I think that could work as a character art design. But I don't know for that future thought process
I kind of
of
want
who
to
you
see
have.
Samuel L. Jackson be their boss. You
Yeah, I
ever
do.
met person?
Yeah, that could work, right? So, Dark, what's your thoughts on how would you modernize this if you're going to modernize this '80s movie?
I'm not sure. I didn't think about that, but at the
We're,
top of
we're,
my head,
we're, we're moving.
I see Hugh Jackman being in there somewhere.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman. Okay, yeah, it could work. Um, Overall, it could be a good thing. Now the question is, do we see if we moved it into modern? Do we CG or via VE?
Oh,
Visual
only
effects.
CG when you have to. If you're
Yeah,
doing it 80s style, you need to use practical effects wherever possible.
yeah.
Only CG where absolutely necessary. And if you do so, you need to make it seamlessly blend. Because let me tell you something, either you're going to go for the hokey 80s look or you're going to go for a seamless mesh of the two. You can't
Well,
do obvious computer through the whole thing. That would not work.
yeah. Well, Stranger Things kind of proved that. I hate to say it, but as much as I have a love-hate relationship with that show. Dark, what do you think? CG or VE?
Obviously, you gotta go with practical. It's been proven time and time again that it's the superior route, and only lazy filmmakers opt for the alternative. Basically, everything what Nessie just said.
In my way, fuck you both. Complete VE. I think visual effects really do add something to a movie. I think CG should be like if I was to put a percentage on CG, I wouldn't even give it a time or day. We have the capability of making something look good. Like a good example of this is Dark 2 surprisingly the squibbing effects, the body effects, like except for that fucking explosion.
If you're gonna
Except
do
for,
VE though, if you're gonna do VE, you may as well do it all virtual, make the characters computerized, and then
no,
have them come back to their
not
role.
not 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 virtual effects, visual effects. Virtual effects is no, I mean visual effects. I mean like FX, life. I say it's that actual effects that are done in real things,
Yeah, that's
like
called practical effects.
practical effects. I go with visual effects, but okay.
No,
Uh,
VE these days is usually virtual effects.
Virtual. I apologize. That
Practical effects
PE.
is where they use puppet and masks and things like that, but
Yeah,
they do it if you do it in the right lighting with the right makeup, it can look really real.
yeah,
Um
yeah. I think that's the better way to go. I think people don't do that enough. Like I'm dreading the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. I really am because to me, I think the freaking CG is going to drive me nuts. I think this is going to look really bad on a lot of
I'm
levels.
not going to give them a dime because they
I,
tried
I,
to.
yeah,
They,
I agree.
they
I
missed her.
agree. Again,
They
I
missed her.
like I've said before, join the cult. Play second edition D&D. Don't play 5e. Friends don't let friends play 5e. Um
So yeah,
is
basically, my Contra movie and yours to a lesser extent would have been Expendables if it was made much sooner and better.
Well, no. See, Expendables take all these other actors out. Like as much as I don't think Dolph Lundgren was actor, and I think he got typecast and thrown into like the worst freaking movies.
I don't know
The
because
poor guy got.
I say it because part of me is thinking I'd want to put Wesley Snipes in there somewhere too.
I do too, but that's where we could and 2 and Contra 3. So we will be doing more what ifs based off depending on how well this actually goes. What if this what if these franchises making them into movies and stuff? But yeah, I agree with you. I would put Wesley Snipes. I'd put in a later stuff. I actually have an idea for Wesley Snipes for later games because there were freaking a lot of Contra games, guys. Like you're talking Contra 2, Super Contra, the Sega Genesis Contra, which was done in the future. So we got a lot of Contra to partake in. So yeah, that's our thoughts on the Contra franchise and how would you make it?
Now,
I hope you guys.
well, because of this conversation, I am sad that we never got a Predator movie with Wesley Snipes.
Fuck, that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
I don't watch those kinds of movies, but I can see how he would be really fun in that role.
Yeah. So thank you, Nessie, for joining us for the What If.
Thanks again for having me.
Thanks again, Dark, for having us going here. We'll probably have this out first, and then Mazes and Monsters will come out later because it's taking editing. These videos are fast edits. The other videos take longer. So thank you, everybody. Like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next What Ifs.